Apparently, today I'm going to be talking about career pivots. I have made several career pivots over my lifetime. I've had several seasons where I have gone in different directions, where I've started over, where I've moved to new places. So it's happened many times. Obviously, the older that we get, the harder it becomes. And I've definitely learned on here from connecting with fellow Gen X women that it is absolutely something that we as a generation are really facing as a result of our burnout, as a result of no longer getting what we need from the jobs that we're in, but desperately feeling afraid to try anything different. And yet we have to try something different. We can't keep going as we've been going, which is exactly what pre-retirement is all about. My name is Amy Palmer. I am your Gen X big sister. I talk about all things pre-retirement, the last 10 to 15 years-ish before you retire, and how to make it the best it can be and really live it to its fullest. This series that I'm doing right now is my Summer Sabbatical series, where I am opening up my video diaries from 4 years ago when I took a sabbatical. You've heard me talk about taking breaks, you've heard me talk about pausing and taking a sabbatical, taking a gap year, whatever it is that you need. These video diaries sort of give you a little peek into what my experience was like and what I was struggling with and what I was trying to accomplish. And the series has turned out to be for a very elite few of you that are on this channel and that are subscribers of mine. I will be getting back to my regularly scheduled content when I'm finished with this series, but I do want to finish this series and put a bow on it as I revisit the whole sabbatical. So the one that I'm going to look at today is we're going to actually look at two, because the first one is a really short clip. I have no idea what I say, but it was day 85. It's called Soaking Up Local Beauty, really short video. And then day 86 is quite a career pivot is what it says. So let's see what I was talking about.
Hello everybody, it's Amy coming at you live from Summit, New Jersey, Reed Reeves Arboretum, getting ready to listen to some live music. Had a wonderful day today with my sister-in-law, Kosh. We explored Westfield, New Jersey, went to some consignment stores, had a wonderful lunch at this cute little Cuban restaurant. Fabulous, fabulous day. Wrapping it up with some live music here in the gardens. And tomorrow I head upstate New York to have my girls' weekend with Sherry and Andrea, my college theater friends. The three of us launched our post-college time together in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan many years ago. So we're going to have a fabulous weekend together. And then I head up to Syracuse to go to the New York State Fair and spend some time with family. I'm going to be updating you very shortly on some of the projects and things that I have going on. But for the moment, soaking up every last moment of summer. And one of the things that's been really cool as I've been nomadic and kind of jumping around from city to city is really being intentional on finding local attractions, local things to check out. And what I'm finding is my friends and family who live in these places haven't necessarily been there. I've been the same way. You know, when you're living somewhere, you don't even see the fabulousness right in your own backyard. But this is a wonderful example. They've have this concert series here at the Arboretum. So I recommend, as we wrap up summer, soak up every last drop of it as we get ready for fall. Check out your local sites, see what's going on, and enjoy. I'm going to show you a little bit. I have a good about a half hour before the music starts, but I'm here. People are starting to gather. It's just really beautiful. I'm sitting a ways back, but I'll be able to hear fine. like she's getting started. Have a great night, everybody.
But they don't know how to play the games. They try to lift your head, stupid.
Okay, yes. So I'm actually in the same area that I was in when I recorded this video, and it reminded me that I got to check out the Arboretum's calendar and see what events they have going on this weekend. What a lovely, lovely way to spend an afternoon and early evening. So this particular video reminded me that I love my approach to local sites, and I've continued to use that, and have continued to share it with people who are hosting me, people who I'm visiting, really treating each town that I go to, no matter where it is, no matter what it is, whether it's what you would consider a tourist attraction or not, I approach it as if I'm a tourist, and I research things to do, and I look up all different types of event calendars. I look at county, states, towns, neighborhoods to really, because you'll find that a lot of different events, it's hard for them to, there's no one single source that has everything that's going on in an area. And I don't care how small of a town that you're in, actually, because I've stayed in some really teeny, tiny towns over the years, and there's a lot going on. But looking up stuff, like looking up events at the local libraries and looking up live theater and looking for live music, and it just leads you to all kinds of wonderful things. This was a good reminder. It's Friday here where I am right now as I tape this. Record this. I have no plans for the weekend, and it's supposed to be a lovely weekend. So just a reminder that might be a good time to explore the local beauty. But let's get down to business, because you know that's how I am. I want to look at the next one, day 86, which is quite a career pivot. Let's see what that one was all about.
Hello, everyone. It's Amy coming at you live from Brewster, New York, the new hometown of one of my BFFs, Andrea, and her fabulous family, Juan and Luke. I'm getting ready to go see their new home, and then tomorrow morning, Andrea and I are heading upstate to meet up with Sherry for a wonderful girls' weekend. Today, my topic, I had a friend reach out to me recently, and she was asking me what I did for a living. I had put out the post about being accepted into Glow Atanmos, otherwise known as Glow Graphics on Instagram. I was accepted into her Bali business boot camp, which I am beyond excited about. Now, mind you, it's not until April of next year, so it's a ways away, but it's an amazing opportunity, a small group of entrepreneurs that will be with her in a villa, learning, figuring out how to grow and expand, how we serve, growing and expanding our businesses, etc. So it prompted the question of a friend of mine wanting to know a little bit more about, like, how much of a pivot is this for you, and what were you doing, what have you been doing, etc. So great question. So for those that don't necessarily know me as well to know all those nitty-gritty details, good question, and an important one for me to talk about, so you can get an idea of just sort of the kind of pivot that I've had. So I'm going to do a really fast summary of my career. I'm not going to start at the very beginning. I'm going to start post-college. And I'm going to do it as fast as possible. I went to school for theater and acting with a minor in communications. Started out SUNY Geneseo, graduated from Syracuse University, and did the whole struggling actress thing. And while doing that, I had to hold down jobs to pay the rent. Started to get involved in sales, which was a very complicated story there, but found that I could become quite good at it. So I started to get sales jobs, which then turned into sales management jobs, which sort of climbed the ladder into executive level over the years. I worked for big brands like Jenny Craig and Sylvan Learning Center. And then when I left Sylvan, I was looking for something new and different. This was about, oh my goodness, 20 years ago? I don't know, a long time ago now. The early 2000s was when I left Sylvan. And I went to see a career coach who opened up my mind and eyes to entrepreneurship. I had never considered it before, and it was exciting to me. So for about 8 or 9 years, I had a sales training, coaching, and consulting business. It was worldwide, online, lots of fun, learned a ton, made a lot of mistakes, but still learned a lot and really enjoyed it. But then I started to look for corporate role again, because financially I wanted to have a salary. There were a lot of reasons at the time that I went back into a corporate role, which is what I spent the last 8 years doing as senior vice president of a for-profit education company. My expertise is in sales, operations, leadership training, growth, growing and expanding businesses, multi-site, multi-unit management with high levels of P&L responsibility. In a nutshell, that's all my business. But for quite some time, I have felt out of alignment, that there was like more that I wanted to do, that I wanted to serve on a more personal, deeper level. And I've always I've loved social media since I first started coming on, and I love sharing, and I love teaching, and I love helping. And I often found that I couldn't be my full self because I still had my corporate persona that I had to keep in mind. So I had to hold back on a lot of things, and I had to, not pursue personal topics that meant a lot to me. So with leaving this most recent job, I've had multiple opportunities come my way in the last few months, other corporate jobs, similar or in the same arena as what I've been doing for the majority of my career. And my gut just keeps telling me, nope, don't do it. That's not it. I have this feeling that there's something bigger, better for me, impactful, that I am being called to do. And so what I'm faced with this time is, how do I do it differently? I had my own business before, but I want to do it differently. I want to do it better. I want to, I just want to do it better than I did before. And I still have financial goals, responsibilities. I have to plan for retirement, all of that. So there's a lot that I want to accomplish. So I have a lot of ideas on how it's going to happen. But let me share with you the pivot. So I've mentioned, when I talked about going to the Bali Business Boot Camp, I'm launching a podcast series this fall. The podcast series, I have a working title in mind, but I'm not ready to share that yet. The focus of the podcast series is on women over 40, 45, I'm not exactly sure what cutoff yet, but women over 40, ideally those that are single and don't have children. So those in the same demographic, same life path, same life situation as I am in. So it's that the target that is specific and a little different. Now, mind you, my arms are open to all women. There's going to be valuable content shared no matter what your life situation is. So whether you're married, whether you have a bunch of kids, whether you're, not quite 40 yet, whatever the case may be. My point is, I'm going to spotlight the women of my demographic more so, because we typically don't get the spotlight. I've been doing a lot of research on it. I've been doing a lot of thoughts and planning. My demographic is ignored, feared, shamed, pitied. There's a little bit of a superficial envy, but I think I've talked about that before. It's Yeah, it's a little. And so I'm here to celebrate us, regardless of how we got here, whether it was by intentional choice, whether it was by circumstance. It's a very nuanced, very complicated conversation. And the more that I'm talking to people about it and researching it, the more nuanced, the more complicated it's turning out to be. But the goal with the podcast series is to bring in a variety of experts on a variety of topics and addressing it in a way that is particularly impactful for my demographic. So talking about financial topics specific to us and what happens when we're, on our own. When it comes to social, building your social life, having a romantic life, even like fun. What are you doing for fun, hobbies, passions, etc.? Very different than our sisters who have husbands and families and who might, have grandchildren and, they're bringing their kids to college and they're preparing for empty nest years. Like they've got a full plate. We have a different full plate. Our plate is just as full. It's just filled with different things. And so I want to put some focus on that plate that's ours. Not to say that there's not going to be really cool stuff that any woman can benefit from. Yes, we're going to talk about menopause. Yes, we're going to talk about sex, everything. We're going to cover it all. So it's going to start as a podcast series, and I am absorbing as much information and learning on how to make that as successful as possible. And my vision is that it becomes a platform. We would have a platform of resources so that there's a place to go when women are looking for resources, information, professional advice, whatever, that they've got this platform, whether it's an app or a website or whatever it is. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but that's the vision. I don't want to put the pressure of monetizing it too quickly. That was my problem when I had my own business the last time, is I had to generate a certain amount of income right off the bat because I had a mortgage to pay. I don't have a mortgage right now. I don't have rent right now, so it's ideal. But I still need to bring in revenue. I still need to generate income. So the way that I'm doing that, aside from my true passion and my true career focus, I am now accepting contract assignments, temporary assignments, independent contractor work that utilizes my expertise. So imagine you have a COO, chief operating officer, chief sales officer level professional who's available for short-term assignments, whether it's a particular project or a campaign or a program. I have a couple that I've started already. I'm doing a really fun project with a sales training guru that I very much respect. I'm helping her and her team build a particular training curriculum that adds on to what they already have. So I'm really excited about that. I have another one in the works, working with another sales company. I'm utilizing my sales abilities. So I am open, ready, and willing for project assignments to generate income while I build my own business. So that's where I am. Hopefully, this is a long entry, but hopefully it answers the questions. Big pivot for me. I'm really excited and feeling really good about how things are playing out and the direction that I'm going. Hope you're all having a great day. Have a fabulous weekend. Bye.
All right. So what is most cool about that video is the level of excitement. I was definitely excited about my plans and about how I was going to proceed. And that was the first time that I had any sort of professional excitement for a really long time. A really long time. The prospect of even thinking about what was next professionally just weighed so heavy on me leading up to that. So that was really, really cool to see. But it also shows you my thought process of how can I fulfill my dreams and my mission and my purpose? And then how can I support myself financially? How can I repackage the skills that I already have? How could those be transferred into other areas, other ways? So if you're in a similar situation where you're trying to figure out how to make that pivot, I suggest kind of doing an assessment of what your career skills are and how could they be reframed, repackaged, reused in different ways. And at that time, I literally was taking on anything and everything. I was taking on any kind of assignment that came my way that was somehow in my wheelhouse, I would accept it. I stopped doing that generally, and I started to hone in on what I'm doing. So what I'm doing now, I'm still doing the same thing. I never really monetize my podcast. I mean, that might be unfair to say because the podcast, which by the way, the name of it is Blueprint Breakers. We highlight and showcase women over the age of 45 who are living a life outside the traditional societal blueprint. So I was really clear about my podcast, and we've had over 100 episodes, and it all came to fruition. I have talked to authors and coaches and mentors and doctors and like financial experts, like you name it, we covered it. Visit my podcast sometime and you'll see all the things. And I made sure that the interests of my demographic, those of us that are single with no kids, was addressed in whatever conversation that we had. And if you are like me, you will know that is rarely done. It's rarely done. So I've been doing that with Blueprint Breaker. So that was cool. I never monetized it directly, but I monetized it indirectly. My podcast led to other assignments. My podcast led to ideas for how I can support myself. I mean, now I have a digital creative studio, the Blue Sky Creative, and that's part of what the Blue Sky Creative does is we produce podcasts for businesses, small businesses, medium businesses. So we produce podcasts and I create online training curriculum, digital curriculum for companies. I've continued to do that. I started doing that then. I enjoy that so much because it's like it uses my creativity, my training, my subject matter expertise, all of that. So I do that as well as creating online digital content for businesses as well. How to like repurposing interviews into reels, into posts and all of that. A lot of those skills, came from my corporate experience, but also a lot of them have come from the skills that I have added in the last 4 years by following this path, things that I have taught myself, that I've learned myself, that I've taken courses on, etc. So it just evolved, and that continues to be the way that I support myself. And then the mission side of my business, I still offer coaching, mentoring, digital products, classes for Gen X women wanting to design their pre-retirement and trying to set up a better life for themselves now. So really cool to see how it's kind of like all come together. Very cool to hear me reference the Bali Boot Camp. Freaking transformational experience. That was absolutely awesome. That happened in April of 2023, so a little over 3 years ago now. And that was the early days of my relationship with Glow, which then led to the Life Leap community. Life changing that experience was. So that was fun for me to hear that video. I'm hoping that you can extract from my story and apply it to yours. I know a lot of you are contemplating and seeking and desiring career pivots. So tell me your thoughts. Tell me what's kind of bubbling up for you in terms of how you can do that and what you can do. Put a note in the comments. I'm your Gen X big sister. I'm coming to the end of the sabbatical series. So thank you so much for those of you that are watching, or if you have a friend that you think would benefit from this, please remember to like and subscribe to this channel, share it with a friend. It really helps me out. I really appreciate your help and support. Your Gen X big sister signing out.